I was a painter when I was little.
Hang on, let me say that again.
I look exactly the same. I don't think I've even grown any.
You have the same, that same smile and everything.
Yep. Welcome to Woodshop 101, a woodworking audio podcast geared toward the hobby weekend woodworker. Your hosts for the show are Jeremy Crawford and Drew Shore. Join these two different craftsmen for a lighthearted banter about everything woodworking, online education, and how they produce content. Topics could include the latest news, tips, tricks, and designs, to include furniture, crafts, and shop projects. Welcome to episode number 43. Tonight we're going to talk about when is it okay to say no. What's going on tonight, guys? Man,
I like how you really enunciated 43.
I've been drinking tonight, okay? And I'm out, and I really should have taken the time to go get another glass. So, what's going on tonight?
I say whatever you're drinking, I want some. So
Sprite and green apple rum. No, green apple Crown.
He doesn't even know.
He drank too much. He doesn't even know anymore.
Yeah, it tastes like. Do you like apple Jolly Ranchers?
Who doesn't?
That's exactly what it tastes like. Is an
I'll
apple
take
Jolly
it.
Rancher. And it's probably a bad thing because I go through it way too fast.
Well, Sterling Davis can attest that his moonshine that he brought to Atlanta is really dangerous and easy to drink.
Moonshine.
Oh yeah, dude. He brought some stuff from I'm trying to think. I think it's Smoky Mountain Distillery.
Yeah. That's in Gatlinburg. That's actually going to be about 4 hours from where I'm moving to.
Yeah, he brought a bunch of that stuff, and he brought all kinds of mix as well as the Blue Flame, and I've had way too much.
Blue Flame sounds dangerous.
It is dangerous.
Their stuff is amazing. 4 years ago, I went through their distillery and took the tour and tried all their flavors. That place is awesome. It's going to be dangerous now that I'm going to be living so close to them. Be like, we're taking a road trip. I'm going to get drunk.
He'll be doing video intros going to Smoky Mountain Distillery.
Exactly, like, here I am at the distillery. We'll see you guys next time. So, all right, well, we had another voicemail from Alabama Woodworker, and I kind of felt like this was going to be a show in itself because we're all going to probably have a different opinion on his question. So let's take a listen here.
Hey guys, this is Alabama Woodworker again, and really loving the show, loving the fact that more people are calling in, but I do have a question or a maybe possible topic discussion for you guys, and I think this probably pertains more to Zen and the art of woodworking in some way, oddly enough. But my comment / question pertains to favors and works for friends and family. Man, I'll tell you, in the last year, my wife and I have pretty much been driven insane in terms of doing favors for family and friends. Each of us, my wife and I, have our own little talents pertaining to, woodworking, sewing, dance. So, we kind of get into this rut where we're just doing so much for other people and favors for other people that we really don't get the opportunity to really enjoy our hobbies. So, just sort of wondering if you guys ever have had that sort of happen to you guys, and how do you balance that? We've gotten to the point where, like, we have to say no because to helping with, woodworking projects and things like that, or DIY projects, because we don't get an opportunity to do things that we want to do and the things that we need to do and the projects that we need to do. After all, I'm doing woodworking because I like to do woodworking for me. Anyway, maybe a good discussion topic. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
That's like the dilemma of all married men.
Yeah, but it sounds like his wife is at least on board with saying no. to some of the requests. So what do you guys think? Is it okay to say no to help requests, and if so, when is it okay?
Are you going to take this first?
I'm just saying, I'm the queen of saying yes to everything. So like, for me, it's so hard to just be like, no, like flat out no. And then I find that because I don't say no, I end up putting my friends and family's projects, like I make them a priority, and I end up putting my own stuff on the back burner. And then I get frustrated, and then I find myself like kicking myself and saying, why didn't I just say no? But it's hard. It's really hard to say no to friends and family, especially when like you're kind of the only person they can turn to do those things. So for me, like, I don't know if I'm even the best person to ask this question to, because like I said, I just say yes to everything, and it's a problem.
There you go. Just say yes. That's Sam's advice.
Don't just say yes, because then you're like me and you're like, why do I have no time to myself ever?
A double-edged sword, because most of the time when people figure out, it's kind of like whenever you become a nurse or a doctor, then you are their private nurse and doctor. It doesn't matter, if they have their own. So when they find out that you are a woodworker, then they start hitting you up for projects that they've always wanted done but could never afford. But now that they've got a friend who can do it, it's going to be cheaper. But if you're trying to make a living at this, you got to be careful about doing stuff like that, because eventually it's going to slip how much you charge your own family member to have that project done that their friend wants done too. And having a spouse or another friend kind of refer you without, or even volunteer you without your knowledge, can get a little out of hand. And in the beginning, my wife was volunteering me for a few things, and realized that with my podcast, trying to do this full time, or as much as I could, to get it to be full time, that I just didn't have the time to do all of these special requests that family and friends were wanting. And whenever I price things, I'm going to price it to where I can make money at it, but not gouge the living daylights out of people. So yeah, you really have to, it's walking a fine line when it comes to that. And I have said no several times here lately, just because I don't have the time with the website and the YouTube videos that I make, and I've been falling behind a little bit lately because of work as well. So that's just something else added to the mixture that I just cannot keep up with sometimes. So taking on extra stuff can be a little tiresome and frustrating.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to say, at some point, and I can't really tell you when that point is, but at some point you're going to have to say no, especially if you want to keep yourself sane and your spouse sane, because if you always say yes, and from what you said is you're always doing these things and you never have time to do the things that y'all want to do, it could build resentment one day on one of your two parts, because you're never going to do the projects that either one of you want to do. Or you're never going to get to those dance classes or go dancing that you said y'all like to do, or any of those other things. So, at some point you got to sit back and you got to kind of decide, yes, I would really like to help this friend out because they contacted me. That means, they were really thinking about me. But at what cost are you going to say yes? Your happiness? Because I can tell you now, I said yes to everything for the longest time, and it eventually just made me so bitter about woodworking, about just doing anything in general other than coming home and sitting in front of the TV and just relaxing. And it took me up until this January when I was like, all right, I'm done. Like I'm not saying yes to every commission. I'm not saying yes to everybody helping me. And if I don't feel like getting out in the shop, I'm not going to get out in the shop. If I want to get out there and just do whatever I want to do, then I'm going to do that. And it kind of renewed the spirit of woodworking for me.
just by simply saying no to not everything, but to a majority of it, just so I had time to myself again. So,
yeah, and I kind of had to talk you into that too, didn't I?
yeah,
The saying no.
yeah. And it still, even after the fact, I was like, all right, well, they contacted me. Okay, maybe I'm going to say yes. And then, finally, after picking up 3 or 4 different possible commissions in a week, and I was just like, no, I can't do them. And then, without saying no, I kind of quoted higher prices, and if they're willing to pay those higher prices, then fine, I'll do it. You want to pay some obscene amount for me to do it? Okay. But then they come back and they're like, that's really more than I wanted to spend. I'm like, okay, I get it. Well, you have a good day. And at the end of the day, there's no hurt feelings. But like I said, none of us can really tell you when is enough to say no. But I'm going to lean to say if it's taking away all your free time and y'all don't get to do anything you want to do, it's probably time to start saying no to some of those things.
Cut them loose.
And do what you want to do. If you say no to everything, then you become unreliable. So I'm just gonna start saying no to everybody. No, if you say no to everything, then people, will stop coming to you for things, and then you'll kind of feel devalued. So kind of just pick and choose what you want to help people with. If they're calling asking you to come fix plumbing and you have no passion and you don't care to fix the plumbing, you just know how, don't do it. Help them out where you're passionate, in those fields that you're passionate, because then they'll really want to learn. And and if at some point saying no is going to force them to learn how to do it, then you got to say no, because that's how you're going to teach somebody. If my son always come up and say, "Mom, Dad, will you feed me dinner?" He's never going to learn how to feed himself.
What?
You don't have kids yet. Just wait. My son.
Weird comparison.
Mom and Dad, I'm really hungry. Too damn bad.
Well, here, if we want to go to the comparison that I was gonna go with, it's at a 5-year-old stage when they, "Mom, Dad, I'm done pooping. Will you come wipe me?" And you're like, "How about you do it first, and then we'll come evaluate the process."
Okay, that's a better one. At least you're not killing your kid.
Yeah, but look, do I really need to blast my son's bowel movements out?
No, but you're like, well, I'm just not going to feed you.
No, I said feed him. I'll cook him dinner. I'm not going to make him cook dinner, but feeding himself, for the longest time, it's just like, even at my daughter's age, and that's really more the comparison. So at 17, 18 months, they can feed themselves. They're going to make a mess. So do you let them make a mess, or do you feed them and save yourself from doing the mess? And that's kind of where I was going with it, is if you always help them, you're never going to give them that chance to grow. And you're never going to force them to learn. So
it's funny though, because even though you said that's the direction you were going, I still just pictured a 3-month-old. Daddy, feed me.
Well,
then Jeremy be like, no.
I'll just send my kids to y'all, and then y'all can decide what to do from there. You'll probably send them back. You'll probably definitely send my daughter back, but she's like Sam. She's Sour Patch.
I love Sour Patch.
Send them to Sam.
She'll just feed him Sour Patch.
Yeah, sorry. That's all I have in my house. So, but last thing I wanted to add to that was just be honest with people. So if you really want to help them out and it's family and you feel bad, I just feel terrible all the time when I say no, just be honest and say, look, I'll do it for you, but you got to give me 2 or 3 months. And if they're not willing to wait, then that's not your problem at that point. I mean, I have somebody who recently asked me to, make a bench for their shoes for their entryway. No problem, I'll do it. But I said, honestly, I don't have time to do it until probably July or August. And they were like, no problem. So, yeah, just be honest.
I've done that before too. Somebody asked me to make a whole bunch of cabinet doors to replace their ones that they already had. And I said, yeah, I can do it. It's just going to take me quite a while. It might be till August before I can get it all done, because I'll just have to do it, kind of late in the evenings when I can. And I said, if you don't have a problem waiting, then I'll do it. And I don't think I think she had a problem waiting, so I don't think she's going to do it with me.
Yeah. Plan it. Plan all your things that you want to do first. Like I want to build a table, or I want to. We want to go dancing one night a week. You plan all those things out in advance, and then you work everybody else's things in around your schedule instead of you working your schedule around what everybody else wants you to help. So, got anything else to add to that?
I'm tapped out.
Don't follow Sam's advice. She never says no.
Just, don't do what I do.
Well, she did give a disclaimer that he probably wouldn't like her answer.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
So.
Well, is that about all we got? We're going to go any further?
I think so.
No, I think we answered his question. Or
I hope so.
I mean, if we didn't answer your question, Alabama Woodworker, go ahead and give us another voicemail.
Yeah. Dude, that's like me saying, I'm going to write this check, but if it bounces, you let me know and I'll write you another. All right. Well, we appreciate the voicemail from you. And for any of you guys that wanted to leave us another question, feel free to drop us an email through the podcast email, which is woodshop101podcast@gmail.com. Or you can do as Alabama Woodworker just did and leave us a voicemail through the area code of 40. What is it? I got to think about it now. 409-234-3959.
At least you haven't memorized.
I was like,
I
it's
do.
written down.
I've said it enough. You think I'd remember it right off the bat, but sometimes I get a little brain locked. But you can call that number from any line, whether it be cell phone, landline, or anything that can just make a call out. If you want to contact any of us individually, Sam and I and Jeremy have a contact page on our websites through DIYhunters.com, rhwoodshop.com, and countrysideworkshop.com. And even if you leave us an individual message or question or anything through our websites, also take a listen on the podcast, because sometimes we intermingle those questions through the questions that are sent through the podcast as well. Because we always enjoy the questions. It gives us lots of topics to talk about, just like this one. This is the first time we've based an entire show off of a voicemail. So that's like breaking ground right there.
It is.
So, guys, we appreciate it very much. We hope to hear more questions from you guys. And if you have any further topic suggestions, we would be open to listen to them. So from Jeremy, Sam, and myself, we want to wish you guys well. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be safe in your shops, and we will talk to you on the next podcast. 1, 2, 3.
Boom!